Our society interacts every day with the land around us, whether it be in our national parks or our own backyard. As much as we take from the resources of our planet, we should pause and comprehend the natural beauty of the land we seldom seek. With the feeling that development should supersede protecting nature, we traveled to Estes Park, Colorado, the base of Rocky Mountain National Park. Why should we preserve our national parks? What is the importance of setting aside land? How can development and a healthy environment coexist? Preserving our land retains the beauty for not only ourselves, but generations to come. Nature is our home, and in nature, we are at home.
Park's an old one. It's founded in 1915, and the National Park Service was only founded in 1916. So they set up this great idea, let's have national parks, yay, but there was nothing set up to manage them. So 1915 for Rocky, a lot of people worked very hard saying this is a truly special place, it should be set aside.
Our mission is to promote stewardship through philanthropy and education. In protecting these places, it's really kind of an American legacy in that way. But for me, it's a place where I get to get away from all the hustle and bustle of town or work, whatever it is that's sort of occupying your mental space, to just get out there and be in a place and not have anything else to think about but being there. Even if you're in the heart of New York City or Denver, Colorado, or any urban center that feels removed from a natural place, your existence is based on the fact that nature is around you, whether it's water resources, clean air, and any number of other things that are why you're able to live where you can live, even if it feels 5 or 6 steps removed from a park or a public land.
As a citizen, the national parks represent a dream to me. People were strong enough and felt strongly enough to stand up and say, everything's happening too fast, the development is happening too fast, we need to save some of these places for the American public. Not for the few rich who can afford to own it or go there, but for the American public. I think we would want to look back and forward. So look at the past and learn from it and look to the future. National parks, we're not all big natural parks like out here. We have Civil War parks. We have Japanese internment parks. We have ghetto parks. We have Martin Luther King. We tell the stories of the nation. Sometimes those stories are uncomfortable stories to tell. But if we don't learn from them and embrace that as our heritage and say, this is what happened, let's not spend a lot of time pointing fingers. Let's just learn from it and see how we can move forward as a nation. I think that's what the national parks give us a chance to do. We can reflect on what has happened, and taking that into ourselves, we can turn and look to the future and make better decisions.
This sort of us versus them mentality. Not like if I support business growth, that means I can't support environmental protection. And so I think when those things are put in opposition and not understood to be potentially in alignment, that's the biggest thing that is battling.
People always set it up as if it's adversarial, as if we can't have thriving businesses and a healthy environment. And that's simply not true. If we do things right, we can have both. So we need to be strong enough to say, these are the decisions I'd like you to make to our elected officials.
There's going to forever be a pressure within the way society is going, of like development and human needs versus protecting these natural landscapes. And so it's important to find that balance for sure. You see it with in Utah with issues of like public land reduction, and that there's a thought that there's economic prosperity if you take those protections away, but that's not necessarily the case. There's a way to work so that both parties win, and it's not a win-lose or scenario.
We're 95% wilderness in our park, which means there's some cherry-stemmed roads, some little accepted roads that are allowed to go into the park, and the highway that goes up and over. But otherwise, that land is wilderness. And under capital W, real wilderness legislation, we can't develop that. That's set aside for the nation's people. And that protects it from the whims of politicians, the whims of a superintendent who comes in and says, I'd really like another visitor center right over here in this meadow. Wilderness Act says, no.
When we set aside land, We protect not only plants and animals, but people as well. We are a species that is filled with curiosity for the world around us, yet we constantly seek to destroy it. Preservation is not just a national issue, but a state and local one as well. Preserving the land is not solely the job of the government, but of every citizen. Nature is everywhere, not just in faraway places. We should use what we learn from national parks and apply that knowledge to the land we see around us every day.
Go home. Go home and spend an hour in your backyard. The same wonders exist there with a magnifying glass. You can find a little exotic community there as well.
The best way to understand the value of a national park or a Forest Service area or state park, whatever the protected area is to go there and experience it. Find your way to connect with these places, and that's how we will continue to protect them, and that's how everyone will continue to understand and remember their importance.
My job, the way I see it, is to try to open people's eyes to the beauty. I know it. It's like a friend to me. I know when the flowers will come, where the wildlife will be, and I want to introduce all of our park visitors to my friend and have them fall in love with it like I did. I hope they take away a relationship, a connection. We want people to bond with the park here intellectually and here emotionally. And so hopefully if they make that connection and they have that relationship, then when they leave and go home and someone says, oh, the national park's just a waste of land, we should do whatever on them, maybe they'll stand up and be a steward of the land and fight for us.
What taught me the value of these places was engaging with them, and being in them and enjoying them, whatever that means for you. Whether that means driving through the park and stopping to take a few photos, going on a 10-mile hike, backpacking, whatever it is for you.
To be able to represent something that I feel so strongly about, and to be able to stand up and be a warrior and say these are important, there's a reason to preserve these, they're worth taking care of. We can all make tiny changes in our lifestyles. We don't have to live in the cold and dark. We can make tiny changes that make our footprint on the planet a little more gentle, and it does make a difference.
We believe that there is beauty all around us. Traveling to faraway places, watching the stars, spending time with family, and appreciating your surroundings all form memories. Memories have the power to inspire, memories have the power to embolden, and memories have the power to preserve. By taking small steps, we can begin to lessen the impact we have on the environment. We should take full advantage of the wonders nature offers us. Go outside, breathe deep, take time to enjoy the world. One day, we might not have it. Take action, make a change, be the change. Here, on the edge of what we know, with the legacy of our parks behind us, shines the mystery and beauty of the world, and it's breathtaking.
I always ask people, 20 years down the road, when your kid comes to you and says, Dad, why didn't you do something? What's your answer going to be? I did do something, I worked hard, I did everything I could to fight it, or I sat back and watched. Which side do you want to be on?